was southwest of the TV and in the same room. We have Tina, she was in the third column. We have Emmett, he was beside the boulder. We have Finnegan, he was the only person in a chair. We have Gemma, she was in a corner. She was south of Benjamin. We have Holden, he was on a bed. And we have Vigo, the victim. He was alone with the unaliver. So I've taken our puzzle and I have just outlined it so you guys can see the rooms a bit more clear. And we have boulder and rubble. These cannot be occupied, obviously, so let's go through the puzzle and cross them out together. So there's a boulder here, or rubble. Gonna put some X's. It's very important that the X's go in the right spot because you don't want to cross out the wrong spot because that can mess up the whole puzzle. So just be a little careful always. And I'm gonna go through and X out like the TV, the tables, and let's just make sure. For the beds, I'm gonna do 2 blocks outlined just so you can see that looks good. Just Xing out. This is a shelf, so I'm gonna X it out. I'm obviously not gonna X out the chairs or the beds or anything like that, so this looks perfect as I'm looking it over. And yeah, so I always kind of like to look these over and always find the easiest. That's our go-to. So Emmett, he was beside the boulder. Well, there's only one boulder, so he could be either here, here, or here. And we don't really know yet, so I'm not even gonna put his name probably. Southwest. Clarence has to be here, but we don't know. And okay, so it says Clarence, or Antonio, sorry. He was beside the shelf. Well, there's only one shelf, and it's right here, and only one spot for that. Well, yes. Antonio could be right here or right here, but Finnegan, he was the only person in the chair. So Antonio could not be here. So Antonio has to be here. Which is perfect. So I put in the A. And we're gonna cross out the columns and rows. So, like I said, there's always one that kind of gives it away. To be able to start the puzzle, so far at least, these are getting tougher, which I'm excited for. So, okay, so we got Antonio, luckily. And helps us with Finnegan because he was the only person in a chair, and there's only 3 chairs. We crossed out 2, so Finnegan has to be here. Awesome. So we have Antonio and Finnegan done. Does that help us with Emmett? Not yet. Tina, she was in the 3rd column. We can't really do her yet. Oh, but with Holden, he was on a bed. And if you see here, we have the beds crossed out. So Holden has to be here. And remember, they can only be on, the bed is 2 squares, but they can only be on the top or the bottom of the bed. So let's cross these out. Awesome. So we have Antonio, Finnegan, and Holden. We just need Benjamin, Clarence, Tina, Emmett, and Gemma. Okay. Tina, we can't do quite yet. Okay, look at this. So, Clarence, he was southwest of the TV and in the same room. So, the only thing that's southwest is here. This is just south, and this would be southeast, these squares. So, this has to be Clarence. Process of elimination, and here's the boulder. Remember, Emmett, he was beside the boulder, so Emmett has to be here. I love the process of logic and crossing things out. It's very satisfactory, but some people don't like it at all, so yes. He was southwest of the TV and in the same room. So we have Antonio. Benjamin, the TV was in his column in another room. So does that mean he'd have to be here? I think so. I think that's what that means. Yeah. So, Benjamin, the TV was in his column. TV's right here. In another room. Yeah, so Benjamin has to be here. Because he's in a different room. And then Gemma, she was in a corner. She was south of Benjamin. Well, the only thing that's south of Benjamin in a corner is right here. Clarence, Emmett Finnegan, Gemma Holden, and then Justina. She was in the third column. Okay. But where? There's 2 spots. Looks like we're missing something. So Antonio, he was beside the shelf. That's good. Benjamin, the TV was in his column. In another room. Clarence. Yep, never eat talking waffles. Yep, that. Tina, she was in the third column. Okay. Emmett, he was beside the boulder. Finnegan, he was the only person in a chair. Okay. Gemma, she was in a corner. Holden, he was on a bed. Okay. Well, if Tina's in the third column here, there's no room left for the victim. So look at this logic, you guys, because if Tina's right here, I have to X out here and here, and that doesn't leave us anything, so I'm gonna put Tina here. This is the third column, and X out that. So this has to be Vigo right here with Antonio. And that's what happens when you kind of have these odd shapes. So I think it's Antonio, but I will check the back. Yep, the unaliver is Antonio. Perfect. Always good to check, but we got that one done well, so let's go on to the next. Okay, so this one is called Ancestral Home. There's nothing like arguing about a will to bring out the worst in people. This is true. I've heard it. So we have Adam. He was in the storage room. He was not beside a shelf. We have Belinda. She was sitting in a chair in the basement. We have Colton. He was in the bathroom. We have Dean. He was in the main bedroom. We have Edwin. He was on a bed. We have Farah. She was in the guest room. We have Greg. He was beside a plant. We have Elena. She was in the basement, in a corner of the room. Vincenzo, the victim, he was alone with the unalivers. So we have some good clues here. Let's get right into it. I think I'm gonna block out the tables and do the beds. And like the plants. Just makes it a bit easier on the eyes and gives us less options. I'm gonna say TV. Let me just double check to make sure that it's all correct. There's a bed. There's a bed. a shelf. So it can't be here. He can't be here. He can't be here. Adam has to be right here. Which is good. We got our first clue to get the ball rolling. And I assume the puzzles will only be more complicated, which I'm excited for. Okay, so we got Adam. Belinda, she was sitting in a chair in the basement. She could be here or here or here. So we don't know quite yet, so we won't do that. Colton, he was in the bathroom. It could be anywhere. Dean, he was in the main bedroom. Again, he could be anywhere. So Edwin was on a bed. So this is important because Edwin could be here or here. All we know is he has to be in one of these. So I'm going to X out this whole column. And show you guys because Edwin, he has to be here or here. So it doesn't matter. We're just going to cross out the whole column as a result. For Ross, she was in the guest room. So we don't know where she could be yet. Greg was beside a plant. Could be anywhere. So Elena was in the basement in a corner of the room. So the only corner left in the basement is right here. So we're going to put H. Perfect. That worked out wonderfully. So now we can solve Belinda. She was sitting in a chair in the basement. Well, here's a chair we can't use. Elena's in this one. This one, Edwin would X out anyway, so Belinda has to be here. It is the last chair. Awesome. We have Adam, Belinda, and then Colton. He was in the bathroom. Here's our bathroom. There's only one spot left. And I'm gonna go down. And look at this. Because Colton's right here, that X's out this spot. So Edwin cannot be here. Therefore, I'll finish Edwin's square as well. Awesome. So we have Adam, Belinda, Colton, Dean. He was in the main bedroom, and there's only one spot left for him. Look at that. Gonna cross out his whole row. This one was easy, it was good. I think the Edwin logic really helped us, so don't be afraid to do that. Dean, Edwin, Farah, she was in the guest room. There's only one spot left for her. is here. Sexes. So the only thing left is P for Vincenzo. So the unaliver then in his room is Greg. Look at that, you guys. We solved that one pretty fast, which is great. So that'll be it for today. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope this was enjoyable, and I'll see you next time soon.